So, hi guys. Nice to see see your names and faces again. This is our November chapter meeting, and with us today we have Jenny Bosking from the ARC. She's going to do a presentation on the ARC and what it does for the community. Jenny started working for the ARC in early 2021 as Development and Communication Director. Prior to that, her professional life has been divided into three unique chapters. She worked as a classroom teacher for 8 years, stayed home to raise her kids for 8 years, and re-entered the workforce 12 years ago on the nonprofit side of things. She loves getting the opportunity each day to tell the story of the ARC to the community. She and her husband are the proud parents of 2 grown children. She's a native Cedar Rapidian, and she loves to be involved in her community. She's currently serving as Junior League Sustainer President, is a member of the 2023 Leadership for 5 Seasons class, and served as youth chair for Downtown Rotary, and is active at First Lutheran Church. So please join me in welcoming Jenny. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing information about the ARC.
Well, I should say thank you for inviting me. I really am authentically enthusiastic about the work that we do here at the ARC, and I love every opportunity that I have to share our story. So I will dive right in. This is our mission statement on the front. Basically, what we do is we currently serve about 600 families who have a loved one with a special need. And we serve in all stages of life, and I'll get into all of that as we go through the slides. But our goal is to provide opportunities to live, learn, work, and play, and advocate in our community. So a little background on the ARC itself. The ARC is about 75 years old and was started originally by a group of parents who felt that there had to be more options out there than just institutionalizing their child with a disability, because back then that was what you did. And these parents knew better, and they knew that their loved ones had more abilities than society was giving them credit for. And so they band together and formed the ARC organization. So since that time, the ARC has gone nationwide, and there are chapters all over the country. In Iowa alone, there are 16 chapters, with our chapter being the largest in the state of Iowa. From chapter to chapter, each chapter is unique in what they do for the community. They basically fill in the void and the need within each community, because we complement and interact with a lot of different agencies that also support children with special needs, which only complicates matters for parents who are trying to navigate this very complicated world. But some agencies only work with housing, for example, or some only do advocacy. What our chapter does is programs and services in all stages of life, in addition to advocacy, but we do not touch the housing world. That is an enormous additional service. There's Discovery Living. There are about 3 or 4 different agencies where families can do group homes and that sort of a thing as their children get older, and as do the parents. So not unlike every other agency and business in the United States right now, we spend a lot of time talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when we recently did a deep dive into our strategic plan, we added dignity to that vision statement and that component, because that is what we do. We are working every day to provide dignity to the people we are really so honored to serve. Who do we serve? You know, who would qualify for service from the ARC of East Central Iowa? You name it, we see folks with those disabilities coming through our door. Some of the folks that we serve their families know at birth that they're facing a life with a disability, maybe a Down syndrome or a pretty severe issue with birth, or a very early birth. Sometimes disabilities emerge later in life, maybe an autism spectrum or a brain injury, things that are like just an intellectual disability that doesn't reveal itself until developmental markers are not being met.
Jenny,
So yes.
I hate to interrupt you, but we're still looking at your first slide. Or
Oh,
is that
you
what you
are.
intended?
Oh, I need to do it from here. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I should have said something earlier, but I didn't know.
Can you can you see that one?
Yep,
Okay,
that
so
says,
I'm just
yep.
gonna, so these are the things that I've talked about. We do have some really great pictures. I'm so glad you said something. I'm just advancing it from the wrong screen. So here's where we are with the folks that the people that we serve with all of their disabilities. And just recently, we have added mental health disability to our array of people that we serve because the presence of mental health needs within the disability community, as you would expect, are even higher. And so we have added a component where we have people that are specially trained to deal with mental health needs as well as intellectual and developmental disabilities. So who, um, so some of the programs that we provide people in all stages of life, they start early with school age daycare, before and after school care, summer programming, group respite. I will talk just a little bit right now about our daycare program. This is one of our most important programs that we offer because it becomes an economic driver for the families that need our services. We are the only special needs daycare in town. So if you have a child who needs some special care, needs a smaller child teacher to teacher ratio, maybe has some medicine giving or some giving of medicines, or someone that needs to be trained in seizure care, that sort of a thing, we are the only resource. And because of the lower caregiver to child ratio, this is an enormous loss leader for the ARC, but it's something that is so important to us. This is where we are one of the grateful recipients of United Way funding, and all of the funding we get from United Way helps us to bridge those funding gaps. And this is where we put the majority of funding that comes from community partnerships or business sponsorships, as well as annual giving and just general giving donations. It really goes to cover the costs of our daycare and small ratio care programs. So in addition to daycare, we have before and after school care. And in the summer, there is summer programming for school age children. We also have a program called Choice that is like a daycare, and it's an extended day for people who are 20 and older. It's a unique situation when you think about it. You know, if any of you are parents to children who are in mainstream education, you have that net of public school care during the day. And as your children get to the age of 18 and graduate, there's a level of independence and opportunities to go get jobs or go to school. Whereas the people that we serve, you know, these families that have people with special needs that are into their 20s and 30s, parents who are having jobs, they need a place for their loved ones to go. And so our choice program is an option for parents who need to work until 5 o'clock at night. I think our choice program goes all the way until 6, gives parents travel time. So we provide child or daycare services for adults, but just with under a different title. The other program that we have for adults is called Dayhabilitation. And this is maybe one of my favorite programs. There's a whole lot of love that is given when you interact with the folks that are part of our Dayhabilitation program. This is for folks that are 22 years of age and older, and they meet daily. They currently meet at our Veterans Memorial Coliseum downtown, and they go out in small groups in the morning and in the afternoon, and then at lunch they all gather again together and have lunch. Those outings during the day consist of maybe volunteering somewhere. They do a lot of Meals on Wheels. They deliver tidbits, magazines. Sometimes they get life skills training. They might go shopping at Target, or they might go order a drink in a restaurant and learn how to interact with hostesses and wait staff. Sometimes they might just go to the park. We recently were the very grateful recipients of a 3-year gift from a couple here in town who realized that Dahab does not have an extended budget to go out and do things that cost money. So we have a 3-year gift from a local couple who is paying for our adult participants to go do mini golf, or to go order lunch somewhere, or to take a tour through a museum and pay the admission cost. One of the most heartwarming things that this couple did is paid for all of our dehabilitation participants at the end of the summer to go have lunch at the top of the 315 First Avenue restaurant. And they had a big fancy table set up for them, and everyone had their own menu with their name on it. And the side story of that just makes everything make sense why we do what we do is one of our moms said her son had a new cell phone and he was going to practice taking pictures from up there, and she never got any pictures. And when she picked him up at the end of the day, he said, "Mom," he's like, "it was so beautiful. I just decided I needed to remember it with my own eyes, and I didn't want to take the time to send the pictures to you." So anyway, Dehabilitation is just a joyful group of folks, and they are learning how to be members of society, and also having access to a social structure and a friendship group. On the evenings and weekends, we also offer groups and getaway opportunities for folks to maybe go to the Apple or the Apple farm. Why can't I think of the word? The site, go apple picking, or go to the Children's Museum, or go to a Rough Riders game. Maybe they'll stay in at our facility and just have pizza and a movie. We just reinstated at our first official groups and getaways overnight on Friday night. It was full. Every slot that was available was taken. And you can think about a family that has a loved one that requires 24/7 care, and during these years of COVID, all of a sudden having an opportunity to have an entire night. You don't have to get back to a babysitter or anything, and you can go out and maybe get out of town for a night, and your loved one is cared for and safe and thriving in a group setting. So that is a really important part of what we do. My husband is the sister of, or is the brother, has a sister who had spina bifida. And as I started this job, his voice is in my head all the time, because he reminds me, he was from a family that didn't have an ARC. And one of his instant takeaways about the structure of the ARC of East Central Iowa is this organic network of support that the families get, not only from the ARC, but from other families. He often reminds me that his mom walked her walk all alone, and no one knew the challenges that each day brought. But these ARC families really take care of each other, and it's an important part of what we do. The other thing that we do for our adults is we provide job training, and we do that in 2 different programs. There's one program called Project Search that we do in conjunction with St. Luke's Hospital, and every year from September to May, we have 12 adults who participate every day like a job. They go to St. Luke's Monday through Friday, and they do a combination of job trainings, skills like how to apply for a job, how to interact, how to troubleshoot problems. And then intermixed with that are 3 internships that they do within the hospital. And if you think about a hospital, it's sort of like a city in and of itself. And so they get experiences at 3 different areas where they think they might be interested in getting a job. They might try food service. They might work and do filing. They might do housekeeping, or work in laundry, or delivery, or wayfinding. There's so many different opportunities that they have. And then in May, when they graduate, Each of them get up and give a speech about what was so good about their year. And almost all of them, when they get up in May, already have a job waiting for them. Many of them are actually hired within St. Luke's, because St. Luke's is very quick to recognize the skills that these folks have, and they see where they fit. And these folks go on and they are contributing members to our community as tax-paying citizens, and it's really a great benefit to everyone. We also have a supported employment program that works year-round with adult participants who are seeking jobs. We begin with doing some research and figuring out what areas they might be interested in. And we have job coaches here who help them practice, maybe go have an experience at a job that are series of businesses that are supporters of ours. And then once they figure out what they might want to do, then they help them with applications and interviews. Once they land a job, we do not leave them high and dry. That coaching remains, where we visit them in their place of work and help with troubleshooting and help with problem solving. And eventually these folks also get to the point where they are independent and hold their jobs and don't need that safety net of the ARC, but we're always there to come back should there be a need. We have dozens and dozens of people in long-term employment. Currently, we are supporting upwards of 30 individuals as job coaching opportunities for people that have newly they've gotten jobs recently and are getting settled into their position. I talked already about dehabilitation and community integration. I think I got a little ahead of myself on that. We also have an advocating side of things. About a year and a half ago, we hired someone to be our advocacy coordinator, and she does a whole host of things. We offer seminars about managing wills and guardianship, and how do parents navigate should they outlive their special needs child. We do some advocacy work in Des Moines that is really driven more by the ARC of Iowa and the ARC of the US, but we are a part of that. One of the things that we are really, really proud of, and all of you in your place of work, if you are interested in this resource, we just came out with a living document through our advocacy coordinator that is called the Family Resource Guide. It's a 100-page document that we have chosen to not print, but we have it on our website as a living document so we can update it all the time as laws change, as resources change, as websites change. This is for a family that is wrapping their heads around the fact that they have a child with a special need. Where do they go? How do they start? What are their options? There, in Iowa, there is Medicaid waiver funding that families can apply for that is super complicated just to make life harder than it already is. And you can get that Medicaid waiver funding to help pay for some of that respite care, to help if you need wheelchairs, if you need medical supplies, if you need a car that has a lift, that sort of a thing. The really, really sad piece of that is currently in the state of Iowa, when you apply for Medicaid waiver funding, there is a 3 to 5 year wait for services. And so we want to help families get started right away. And we also rely on funding from donors to help bridge some of those funding gaps. So parents who do not have out-of-pocket money to pay for some of that support and that respite care, that we can help bridge that and get people that care while they wait for Medicaid waiver funding. We talk about the economic impact that the ARC
Hey,
has.
Jenny, can I interrupt 1 second?
Yeah.
We're still on the we accept
It didn't move.
screen. No. And I just noticed like you have a whole cool screen for we advocate, which I think is where you were just at.
Yeah. Okay. So are you seeing it now?
I see we empower now and now we advocate. Yep.
Goodness, I see. This is that whole new computer thing trying to figure out the multiple screens. I really apologize. Thank you
No,
for
it's okay. Yeah.
Thank you for the nudge. We also talk about, the economic impact, not only when we have participants who are working and contributing to society, there is also an economic impact when you think about 600 families who are able to have jobs. And by having this safety net of the ARC, these families can go to work. And this family resource guide, we have given the link to medical providers. We have given the link to education, folks in the education world. And we are also working very hard to get that link to all human resources directors, because the world of human resources has evolved so much. And sometimes as we talk to our ARC families and we say, how did you find out about the ARC? More and more we're hearing that they heard about it from their HR department. And it often is because they were missing a lot of work, they had to leave early, they had a child who was sick a lot. And so when the HR person says, there is this resource called the ARC, here is some information, we know that we can hopefully serve more people. So we want to get that out as much as we can, but we do want people to understand that the ARC is not only a great support system for our families, but it is also an economic driver for our community. Okay, I'm going to try one more time to get this to advance. Did it advance this time?
Yes, it's good.
Yay! Okay. This is a little bit more of what I've already talked about. So every time I talk, I get a little ahead of myself. But many parents will tell you that respite is the game changer for them. So, the ability to have someone come into your home or to take advantage of the group respite work so that you can go get your haircut, so that you can go to your other child's sporting event, so that you can run errands without having to load a wheelchair in and out of the car. It's just a game changer. We have one family that spoke at an event for us last December, and they have a son who requires a lot of attention. And they, for years and years, have had a standing Thursday night respite date. And she said, honestly, it's the best night for us. And she said, what we do is we go to a different restaurant and we go to Sam's Club. And she's like, I know that doesn't sound very exciting to most people, but it is so important for our mental health to be able to have a conversation and focus on each other. And so that respite care is really, really important. Okay, I am advancing it to some of the fun things that we do here at the ARC. We have lots of activities during the year. This March, on Saturday, March 25th, we will have our 26th annual ARC March. This is a combination of all sorts of things. It's advocacy, it's community awareness, it's fundraising, it's a party. We have a DJ, we dance, and at the end, we all march together and celebrate all the abilities that everyone brings to the table, and it's just a happy, happy day. We have summer softball programs, we have holiday parties. We just had our second annual Bike Pedal and Stroll event in September. There is talk of maybe tabling it for a year next year, because next year we are so excited to be celebrating our 70th anniversary. And we are looking at doing a large community open house in the fall here at the ARC, probably in place of Bike Pedal and Stroll. We are in the middle of a very large capital campaign to raise money for an inclusive playground on our property that would increase our sad little blacktop space by 3 times and would provide inclusive play with a soft structure underneath. This is not only going to be an inclusive playground for our participants, but it will also be available to the community. There is no inclusive playground downtown, and we see this as something that can be a destination for all visitors to Cedar Rapids. Currently, if our participants want to play at some of the wonderful inclusive playgrounds in Cedar Rapids, we have to load everyone up onto our bus and go there. So to have something on our campus would be pretty remarkable. And then the final slide is, well, second to final slide is how can you get involved? We rely very heavily on financial support of the community, not only privately, but through community partnerships. One way is to be an ARC member. It's also, there is a monetary donation, and then you also have the ability to vote in at our annual meeting over some of the programs and services that we provide, and just be aware on another level. One of the things that we really are getting the message out is for everyone to be an advocate for ARC services. If we were all in the room together, I may take a poll and see if anyone knows anyone who has a special need, or if they know someone who loves someone with a special need. And there invariably is a hand that goes up. But we know that we are not serving, there are people in Cedar Rapids who could benefit from ARC services, but they don't know it exists. So there are families who are just beside themselves trying to figure out how to make ends meet as an autism diagnosis reveals itself, or as they realize there's an intellectual disability. And so having people in our community who can say, hey, you know that the ARC is out there, that's really important. The other thing is, and this is a shocker, we currently have 70 registered ARC families who are waiting for services, but like every other agency in town, we are low on employees. So also helping us spread the word that we have job openings. You know, I always honestly say no one's getting rich here at the ARC, but their hearts are full and they are doing really important work. So if you know someone who is looking for a part-time or a full-time job in human services, send them my way and I can share with them the openings that we have. We have in-home respite, we have night and weekend, we have full-time care. We have about 25 people at Dayhab that would like to participate, but we do not have enough full-time employees for that area. We have recently gotten an ARPA grant that allows us some sign-on bonuses and some long-term extra pay. So we're trying to sweeten the deal and get people in who have a personal mission that aligns with the work that we do. And then I will close with just a few pictures of some other folks who we serve, and just show the joy of what goes on here every day. And I am more than happy to answer any questions people might have.
So Jenny, when you said next year is the 70th anniversary, that's of the Iowa chapter or the East Central Iowa chapter?
That is of our East Central Iowa chapter.
So we were close, you guys were close to being one of the first chapters
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. And there are, it was like a dozen families that, as word trickled down that this was available, yeah, they led the charge. The other thing about Cedar Rapids that is really remarkably special about special needs care, and of course now my brain is drawing a blank, the idea of Medicaid waiver funding, where a parent could say, rather than the government paying for me to put my child in an institution, why don't you pay me a sliver of that amount so I can stay home and care for my child? And that's how Medicaid waiver funding started. And it started here in Cedar Rapids. And it was part of the family that started it. Ronald Reagan was a big proponent of that. And he talked about it on the campaign trail here in Cedar Rapids with this family that was such a fierce advocate back then. And of course, as soon as we hang up, the name will come to me. But it was, so Cedar Rapids has been a leader in disability advocacy care.
What area does your, what area does
go
your chapter cover? Just Cedar Rapids, or do you go
Nope,
Iowa
we
City?
cover, yeah, there are 7 counties, but the vast majority of who we serve are in Lynn County, but we go into Benton, Iowa, Cedar, Jones, very north side of Johnson, and I maybe missed one in there. There is an arc of Johnson County that primarily serves the Iowa City, Coralville, North Liberty area. But when we get into Johnson County, the folks that we serve are primarily in the College Community School District. So Ely, that Shueyville, Swisher area.
I just wanted to mention while you were talking about the day habilitation, one of our members put in the chat that she sees them downtown
Oh,
doing stuff.
oh, and I should have said that because yeah, they are out on the streets a lot. There's a coffee shop, Crafted, that's in the old Smolikoff's building that welcomes them in all the time. They have a whole bunch of places where they stop. I love that. And if you ever do see them out and about, give them a high five, tell them you think they're awesome. They'll give you high fives right back and take all the love you have to give.
Yeah, I will randomly see them out walking or even like in the skywalks in the winter and stuff. And they're always so polite. Like
Yeah.
most of the time they'll like hold the door open and, just say hi and stuff. So very cool.
Yeah.
You guys do really, really great work.
I as I open this up, when I say you can embellish all the time, but I'm not embellishing. This is such a remarkable agency. And for these families, it is a lifestyle. It is not a temporary fix. It is a forever thing. And we are just so honored to be a part of all of these families' lives.
So does anyone else have questions or comments for Jenny? Check in the chat here. Jenny, thank you so much. That was very informative and very helpful. I myself will admit I wasn't exactly sure what the ARC did. All those different things are fairly amazing and hard to coordinate, I'm sure. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and share your presentation and all your knowledge with us. And we do a thankful November, and so we will be giving you a donation to the ARC.
Thank you.
In appreciation of you coming today and also of everything the ARC does for our community.
Thank you so much. And if any of you would ever want a tour of our facility, we are more than happy to do that as well. So just give us a shout and we will show you the magic that goes on here.
Awesome.
All right.
So just a little bit of chapter business. As I mentioned to Jenny, we're in our thankful month of November, and so we will also be donating to 3 other local charities: Big Brother, Big Sister, I'm gonna say this backwards, I'm sure. The Eastern Iowa chapter of the JDRF, and also we will be giving a donation to a local food bank. On top of that, our October diaper drive social event went pretty well. And Angela, what's the name of, I'm sorry, I can't, did Angela hop off?
She jumped off. Yep.
Okay, yep. I will email you guys the name of the organization that it's going to, because for the life of me, I get it wrong every time.
Wasn't it Families Helping Families?
I don't think, no, you know what? It's part of the United Way. So if Families Helping Families is part of the United Way, that's where they're going. So those are some things we're doing to help support our community. And I think the only other reminder I have is that please reach out to us. Cassie, what's our email?
Cedar Valley CPCU at gmail.com.
Thank you. If you are interested in being a member of the board, we will be having elections over the next 4 weeks-ish. We'll have to have the new board elected by the 1st of the year. So if you can please let anybody or any fellow CPCU member ask any of us or any of the board members questions, anything you want to know, you can reach out to me or Cassie, Jeanette, Angela, Mike Fox,
Jade Miner,
Beth Mollers, and Amanda Gilbreth, and Ryan White, our current board member. So if you have questions, ask them. If you want to talk about if it's the right fit for you, give us a call. But please, if you're interested, email our chapter email address and we'll get you on the ballot. And let me just say, usually there's room for almost everyone. So we'll take all comers. So other than that, I am thankful for our chapter and thankful for you all participating today. Thank you again, Jenny. Really appreciate everything you shared with us.
Thank you for inviting.
You guys have a great rest of your November. And it's good seeing everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Jenny, so much.
Hey, Jenny. Oh,